Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros MLB. This is Leading Off Live, brought to you by PrizePicks. Sign up for PrizePicks today and use that promo code Leading Off when you do. It's me, Joey P. Joe Pizzapia. That, of course, is the Welsh. We are clean shaven. Monday was a fun show. If you missed the mustaches, well, go run to the YouTube. It was pretty amazing. Actually, I saw some of the still shots there. I posted one on Twitter. I think we look pretty sexy, to tell you the truth.
Pretty good. I mean,
it's not bad.
There's a little stranger danger that was involved in that. That was one of the funnier things that somebody put out there. But hey, listen, stashes were good. They were fine. Mine gone. I mean, the minute the show was done, because I also had a video to post that you guys can check out on Fantasy Pros MLB YouTube channel, and I wasn't going to put the mustache on that one, though it might have been good, but it is gone. Bye-bye.
Yes, we were off yesterday for the holiday. We are back again, and for the rest of the week, just in case you're wondering, I know next week's schedule is weird with the All-Star break, but don't worry, we'll break all that down. But Welsh, what a difference 24 or 48 hours can make of an opinion. Today is Shohei Ohtani's birthday, by the way. He turns 29. I just saw that. I did not realize that.
Not just Shohei Ohtani's birthday, but shout out to my lovely wife and my daughter. They all share. So I have two in my house, and then we have a baseball player who represents
lots of birthdays.
two. So happy birthday to all.
It wasn't a great birthday, though, because for his birthday, he has a blister. He got a blister for his birthday and a Mike Trout injury that's going to take him out till August. We have to talk about this because this is huge. Mike Trout has had a good season. I don't know if I would call it a transcendent Mike Trout season. Still a lot of strikeouts there. He's on a good pace. He's going to have, 30 homers, close to 90 RBIs. It's a great season. But here we are, 31-year-old Mike Trout, another injury. It's a hamate bone broken. So 6 to 8 weeks typically is the recovery time. And we've seen this in the past. I remember back in the day when Pablo Sandoval had both hands. Do you remember that? He had one, and then the next year he had another one. I would say this. I remember this zapping a lot of guys' power. I'd be very concerned of whatever you get out of Mike Trout the rest of the season. Yeah, then the Shohei Ohtani blister issue where he came out. Now he's unlikely to pitch in the All-Star game. This comes at good timing, so you hope the blister can, right itself. But the Angels found themselves in the wild card hunt just 24 hours ago. And now it feels like the whole calculus has changed. Welsh, we were talking before the show, and you put out there to me, you said, if you asked me yesterday in the morning, I would have said, Angels are feeling really good. They're not trading Ohtani. Now I'm going to ask you that same question with this Trout injury and where they are in the standings and what this team really is. Do you think that calculus has changed?
I may or may not have, within the last week, said with 100% certainty Ohtani was not getting traded. That may or may not have. There's no confirmed evidence outside of audio recordings that no one's pulling. I may or may have said that. I look at the situation now and go, that has swung in the opposite direction. I don't think it's 100% assured or anything like that. They're still over 500. Divisionally, I think it's the Central is trash, and they're third in their division, 7 games back. They would be fourth in, I think it's the East, the AL East, if they were in over there. So there's still a little bit of ways to go, but you lose Trout now. If this is an important 10-game stretch, I think, that's coming up between here and the All-Star break. If they go 7-10 or 6-4, something like that, I personally still believe that if they are in the hunt and they're making positive, push, I still think they're going to do it because they'll say, we're going to get Trout back. We're going to try. Maybe we'll buy. But if they lose and they're 4-6, 3-7 over the next 10, they are seriously going to have to consider trading Ohtani after losing this. And it all comes down to, I said to you, I think one thing they have to figure out how to do, I think they have to sit down with that representation and be like, we need you to give us an honest assessment of, will you come back? What is the likelihood to come back? Because I have attested to that if Ohtani will come back, they don't want to do anything to hurt that. But this is a huge, massive blow. And you and I were going through some trade scenarios because I think there's only a few teams. And I know you have been very, very heavy on the Mets being the team. But
I was until the Mets became the Mets and were 17 games out of first place. I think the Mets are toast. So, no, the Mets are not in this thing right now.
I think there is a team.
The Dodgers are the team.
It's the Dodgers.
And look, I don't want to throw cold water on this, but Ohtani's agent's going to say, yeah, sure, of course you're in the mix because he wants to drive up the price. Because that you want as many teams in the mix as you can get. because if you get them, then you can continue to play them against each other to raise the price of Shohei Ohtani. You're getting an ace pitcher and an MVP candidate in one trade. It's going to cost you taking on another contract, I think, and it's going to cost you a crap ton of prospects. It's going to cost you Outman. It's going to cost you Vargas. It's going to cost you Bobby Miller or Sheehan at least. And I do think they would ask you to take the Anthony Rendon contract along with it, which I know is a huge ask, but I don't think it's wrong. That's where I would start if I was the Angels general manager, and I'd say, look, if we're going to really remake this team into something good, you have to move Ohtani because a draft pick is not enough, and there's a better chance that you lose him than you keep him. So this is something, you're right, the next 10 games here through the All-Star break are going to be crucial. This could not come at a worse time because the uncertainty. Had this injury happened, I think, 2 weeks ago, you would definitively get a Shohei Ohtani trade potential because then you know what are we without Mike Trout. But more to the point, too, from a fantasy perspective, now with Mike Trout out, you're getting Joe Adell back up here. He is not the guy to replace Mike Trout, but what do you do if you have Mike Trout? Because from a fantasy perspective, you're going to be without him now for 6 to 8 weeks. And when he comes back at the end of August, quote unquote, theoretically, what does that look like? I don't know. Well, I mean, it feels like if you have Trout, you're kind of just – your season's been sunk. Do you see any way out of this?
Yeah, by the way, get a little closer to the mic. A little closer to the mic. You were getting lost just a little bit.
I hate when I get lost.
Yeah, you're getting lost. Yeah, you were turning into the Mike Trout of all this. I mean, what do? I mean, this is going to be a big rubber meets the road for dynasty owners. If you had I have Mike Trout in a league, in a dynasty league that I've been kind of struggling, and this is probably a nail in the coffin of me trying to make a run, and I need to probably consider some stuff. But what I do worry about, to your point, is, oh my God, what could this team look like when Mike Trout comes back? This will be like Rick from The Walking Dead. You know, one day he's with his friends and a traffic accident happens. Next thing he wakes up in a hospital, the world's destroyed and there's zombies everywhere. Like Mike Trout is going to be there and it'll be like, here's my buddy Rendon, here's Ohtani, here's this, here's that, here's Brandon Drury. He's going to wake up and it's going to be the shells of Joe Adell, and maybe James Outman is going to be there and David Fletcher will be playing again. And he's going to be like, what is this?
I can't think of anybody but the Dodgers too, of where that makes sense now. Like I'm sure there's some other team laying in the weeds that we're not thinking of, but the Dodgers just make the most sense. But the problem with that is from a PR perspective, if you're an Angels general manager, how much do you hate trading them to the Dodgers? I mean, that's just a terrible situation. They're not Mets and Yankees, but you hate it.
You do, but it's about facilitation. And I told you off air, I said, of course there's other teams like the Mets, the Yankees should always be considered into it. But
I don't think the Yankees have the prospects to do it.
No, well, they've got it. They'd have to. Jason Dominguez. You'd have to be Jason Dominguez, maybe Volpe.
Oh God, do you want to do that? I don't think that. See, to me, that's not the Brian Cashman style that he's shown you in the last 15 years.
You'd have to trade one big piece. They've got some others, but the Dodgers specifically, they have got all the pieces. I think Outman and Vargas are the big core. And I know, and the one thing you need to consider here as well, we're talking about and this is what I think is hard about this. We're talking about a return that looks like the Juan Soto trade, but Juan Soto had an extra year on him. You are renting Ohtani for 2 months with the hopes that this gives you a edge, not only to win this year, but to maybe sign this guy. So if you're talking about Outman and Vargas, I think it makes sense. Probably a guy like Sheehan. I kind of feel like they don't trade Bobby Miller. And then maybe that's it. Or maybe there's another low-end prospect. Taking on money, I don't know about that. Does that put the Dodgers over? Probably. But also, he gets to stay home. And I think this is courting him. Sending him off to New York could be very jolting, but it's a team that is home. They've got the prospects. There's enough of a relationship. They've got the motive, and they got the money. The Dodgers, unfortunately, make all the freaking sense in the world. If it happens, I still don't think it's as much of a guarantee as you say, but
I do.
That injury made it a lot more.
MLB needs Shohei Ohtani in the playoffs. They do. I mean, let's be honest. They need him in the playoffs. He has been must-see television this year. He's been must-see television for the last couple of years, but really this year in particular, baseball's been hot again. The Angels are never in the playoffs. From a money perspective, from a competition standpoint, in October when we get an NBA's back and the NFL's back, Major League Baseball wants to see Shohei Ohtani that they can market in the playoffs. So that's the best case scenario, is to get him in there. By the way, happy birthday, Larry. It's Larry's birthday too, not just everyone in the Welsh's family, and Shohei Ohtani also. So it's a great discussion. We're going to table it for now. Also, here's a Here's a question for you. Joe Adell now for the next 2 months. He's going to have unlimited playing time, it would feel like. So I know you're not the biggest Joe Adell guy, but it seems like if he's out there in your league, and chances are he is, you want to add him because he's going to get at-bats now. And especially if Ohtani does get traded, even more at-bats potentially for him in August.
You want to speculate. You want to speculate on Joe Adell. You don't want to like unload it. What I will say,
sell Welsh on Joe Adell no matter what I do.
There's like not enough. I'm even looking at like the Savant page. XBA looks great. He didn't strike out a bunch, but it's just such small sample sizes. I will say he was putting up insane hard hit numbers in the minor leagues. He'd been near the top as far as homers go. So this is a good opportunity. He's still not running a whole bunch. He's going to get his shot, whatever that looks like. This could be, if the Angels win games, they could be trading him if he starts to play it up a little bit. Or this is his actual full shot to be in more of a prominent piece of the order. 12-team, 5 outfielder. If I had some dead weight, I would absolutely speculate on this, simply because he looks like he's guaranteed for close to 2 months to have a gig. And if they're winning games, it will probably be, thanks to him. If they're not, it'll probably be partially thanks to him.
I know we got a lot more to get to, so enough Angels talk, but this is a big thing. I mean, this was a huge deal yesterday, all happening at one team and all happening at the same time. It's like that movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once. That's what the Angels were yesterday. Corbin Carroll returned, so that's good. So fingers crossed that he's healthy enough for the rest of the season. Big day for some Reds. Jonathan India, 3 for 6 with 2 homers. Ellie De La Cruz, a 4 for 4 day with a steal. Woohoo, we love that. And Vlad Guerrero hitting another home run too. He's starting to heat up, slashing 247, 349, 455, 13 bombs, 54 RBI. We'd like to see Vladdy have a good second half. Joe Musgrove, 7 scoreless innings. 1 run he did give up. My apologies there.
He has been
Luzardo,
phenomenal. I just want to point out real quick, Joe Musgrove with the early injuries, and by the way, get back on that mic. Joe Musgrove with those early injuries and then kind of a rough go. You go and look here, expected ERA under 3 right now, second lowest barrel percentage pitched to in his career. I mean, the K numbers they're not phenomenal, but it's still around 24 with a really low walk rate. He's been messing with that changeup. I don't know, man. He's been crazy good, and it looks like there is a lot more in the tank for the second half. So I might be a buyer back into Joe Musgrove. I'm buying a lot of these Padres. I'm
Musgrove is a guy that, I mean, Kelly and I were talking about it for weeks now. It's like, you got to go trade for Joe Musgrove. He was clearly a perfect guy to buy. Not a good guy to buy for Matthew in our chat here. He just traded for Trout last week. So, Matthew, sorry, buddy. Sorry. They make it's legal in a lot of states now. You might want to kill the pain. Jesus Luzardo, 8 strikeouts in 6 innings. Looking at the stats now, Welsh, on Jesus, 3.32 ERA, a 1.16 WHIP, 120 strikeouts to 26 walks in 103 innings. That's 18 starts. I'm ready to put him in the elite. I think he's there. I mean, these are our elite numbers. When you have a strikeout to walk ratio like that, when you have an ERA that's getting almost south of 3, where we're getting real close, I mean, that is pretty damn good, especially this year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's in the elite. I don't put him in the elite, but he is definitely dipping his toe in that territory, because you're not wrong. An almost 30% K percentage with around a 6% walk rate. Those are in those pretty great elite numbers. Yeah, expected numbers are in there, and on the season, we saw the fastball be a little bit more effective. The whiff percentage is up by around 3%, and his slider has been bonkers this year. It was 41% whiff rate last year, and he threw it about 30% of the time. Same percent this year, over 50% whiff rate. So that fastball velo up a little bit is more effective, and it's setting up the slider, which, those are elite pieces for these type of guys.
Also, Staple traded Bryce Harper to get Trout last week, so it's tough, baby. It's tough out there.
Without Harper's been performing, who has more stats? Trout missing 6 weeks and then coming back, or
that's
Harper
cold.
The rest of the year?
That's mean. All right, let's get to one more thing. Nelson Cruz designated for assignment. So I imagine the end of Nelson Cruz, although I think somebody could take a shot on him down the stretch. Somebody might give him a shot here. You never know how things are. Let's do the rookie. Colton Cowser,
yes,
from AAA Norfolk, getting the call. 23 years old, 5th overall pick in the 2021 draft. Been very good at AAA so far this year, slashing 330, 459, 537. That OBP of 459, unbelievable. 10 homers, 40 ribbies, 7 steals in 56 games. What's your thoughts on Colton Cowser here? Another Oriole getting the call. See, this is what the Angels need to look at. They need to look at a team like the Orioles and say, look at what this team is doing with these young position players. This is what we need to do. This is how we're going to build a team that's going to be good on an annual basis.
Well,
Orioles
also,
are doing
this is one of those where I think someone asked it in the chat, and it's a legitimate question because I've been, I know I talk CES on here. I talk a lot about Colton Cowser. This is one of my favorite guys in the minors. I got him as a top 10 fantasy prospect. But one of the things we've looked at is where's it going to play? Because they kind of screwed it up when they brought in Aaron Hicks, but I assume this is going to be the takeover for Aaron Hicks move long term. You mentioned that OBP, it's 459. It's because he had an almost 19% walk rate at AAA, 18.7. That is over 56 games, an under 25% K percentage, 10 homers, 7 stolen bases, and over 200 ISO. This is a guy that does have real power. 3 straight levels, he's had a 200 plus ISO. I love his bat to ball skill. This is a guy where like Gunnar has struggled with average. I would be shocked to see Colton Cowser struggle as hard as him with the batting average. So Colton Cowser is a guy that I'm absolutely picking up. Who was the guy we were just talking about in the 12? Oh, Joe Adell or Colton Cowser? I'd rather have Colton Cowser in a 12-team 5 outfielder, even though Joe Adell is more locked in. And JP said Hayes is hurt while he's coming up, but once Hayes comes back, I think this is Aaron Hicks going bye-bye.
Well, Hicks has been good. Hicks has been very good since they picked him up off the stretch.
I won't listen.
You can refuse to believe it, but I mean, it's true. I mean, whether you believe it or not doesn't matter. It's a fact.
You just can't put Colton Cowser back down is my problem. You can't you can't get him up unless he struggles, unless he mightily struggles.
Which
and
you could.
Can. Yeah.
Ryan Ellis pulled off a hell of a trade, by the way. Musgrove and Detmers for Sandy Alcantara and Alek Manoah early in the season.
Musgrove, Detmers for
Alcantara and Manoah early in the season. That'll do. That trade looks pretty good. You pulled that trade off in May. That'll definitely do.
Speaking of Manoah, I know we're going to get to that.
Speaking of Alek Manoah, he's going to be back on Friday. Now, I won't be here Friday. The Wonky Penguin will be filling in for me. I've got tickets to SmackDown in New York City. It's going to be a good time. The tribal court for the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Well, they're going to put him on trial whether or not he should continue to be running the bloodline after losing at Money in the Bank to the Usos. So it's going to be amazing stuff there. It's going to be cinema, Welsh. It's going to be theater. It's going to be great. But Alek Manoah also.
Whole thing you just sold us on, that was an amazing moment hearing an adult talk like that.
New in this league, by the way, I just recorded. I sent it to Welsh. Whenever he's done with the show, he's going to upload it in this. What did I say?
In this league.
Oh, in this league. Well, it is on in this league.
Yeah.
But in this ring, my new wrestling pod just recorded. Welsh this afternoon, he'll have a sandwich and upload it so he can listen to me talk about that. But more to the point, the Wonky Penguin is excited for Friday. She cannot wait to be on this show. I can only assume this is going to be an epic disaster. So, Welsh, I guess here's the thing. Let's make some money on this. When it happens, whatever the earned run total is, let's go over. Let's crush this. Let's bet real heavy on the other side because I don't see any reason. There's nothing he showed me in these minor league workings that make me feel better about him getting a start again. I don't know what's going on here.
I mean, if they put like his walk total out there, I'm going to take that. Everyone was like, oh man, Alek Manoah is back. I don't know, man. This is against Double-A. Yes, he struck out 10. He also walked 3 and hit a batter, and I think he hit that batter in the first inning, and he had back-to-back walks in one of the innings. He got out of like 1 or 2 bases-loaded jams. Lots of strikeouts, but it's not as clean as that outing looks like. Going up against Detroit, okay, that's if you could ask for a better situation for him to walk into, there probably isn't. Outside of playing, I'm trying to think of like the A's. The A's might be the best situation here. Do I trust it? Not really. Is it possible he comes in and strikes 9 and gives out 1 or 2? Yeah, but I'm not betting on it. I'm treating this like I would treat any guy coming back from Eduardo Rodriguez, who I think is going today, coming off injury.
Like, I feel much better about Eduardo. I'm not starting him necessarily.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm not starting Manoah. I'm treating him like he was injured and coming back from his first start. There's no chance.
I don't. Like I said, I think this reeks of desperation. That's what this is. That's what it feels like.
What do you think his walk number looks like? If I could get, I would smash 1.5 over, which is usually the.
If I was setting it, it would be 3.5.
Oh, if I could get 2.5 over, I am smashing that. Look for that. If you see 2.5,
well, but I mean, if you see 3.5,
savings on it.
I mean,
this is not financial advice, but put your life savings on it.
All right, let's talk about the injuries. The Dodgers did announce, as Welsh mentioned earlier, Dustin May, Tommy John. So he done for all this year, all next year. Not surprised here. Preseason, all we talked about was how bad the latter part of this rotation is for the Dodgers and how dangerous it is to consider them favorites. And here we go. Now, look, Bobby Miller stepped in. I know Sheehan was bad yesterday, but we'll get to that in a second. They're going to fix it. But this is a problem. They have to address it. Garrett Whitlock also going on the 15-day IL. No matter what, it just seems like this guy is snake bit. We can't get Garrett Whitlock on the field for a long period of time. It's really frustrating.
He's
Tario
the Jazz
Estrada.
Of pitchers. He's the Jazz of pitchers, by the way.
That's a good analogy. It is. Tario Estrada, by the way, is going to miss 4 to 6 weeks with a wrist injury. So he's been very good. He was in one of my serious sell high candidates on FantasyPros.com a couple weeks ago in that article to get rid of him because it just didn't think he could sustain. Zach Greinke made an early exit. Well, early after being terrible. So look, let's take you out of here. Something's got to be wrong. And then, of course, the Tigers activated Tariq Skubal from the 60-day IL. And speaking of inevitable injuries, the Padres, Michael Wacha, goes to the 15-day IL with right shoulder inflammation. I don't want to take victory laps on injuries, but Welsh, yeah, if you had Michael Wacha and he was doing what he was doing, there's no way you couldn't try to move him immediately. This was inevitable. This is the Thanos of pitchers in terms of inevitability. You had to know this was coming.
What were people buying?
The way he was pitching, do you not see the numbers? I don't care what you're getting. Get something before this happened.
See, I would rather have that. If you were watching that changeup he's been throwing has been bonkers. A sub-3 ERA. You can take the victory lap that he got hurt, I guess, and some of the expected stats go in the other direction. But this is one of those, I'm not trading him for just nothing. There's no way. His production is worth way more than what anybody's actually going to facilitate for you in a trade.
But it wasn't a matter of facilitating of equal value. It was facilitating a player that was going to play in the last 81 games of the season.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. That is the problem. We look at these things and we say, well, we can't get equal value back for that. No. But with certain guys like Wacha, you have to look at them and say, there's no way he is going to pitch. He's going to make 30 starts this year. That's never going to happen. Once he made 10, you had to go, well, geez, I am already on borrowed time. I have to do something. Framber Valdez, by the way, good news for him and everybody who's invested in him and Cy Young. He is going to start. He's been dealing with that ankle injury. He's going to start on Thursday. Brendan Lau is going to be back. And Yordan Alvarez, Mr. Alvarez himself, is going to be back as well sooner than later, beginning a rehab assignment, looks like after the All-Star break. So fingers crossed we're getting Mr. Alvarez back sooner. 3 up and 3 down. James Outman homered twice, drove in 4 runs. Aaron Nola, 7 1/3, 12 strikeouts on July 4th. And Logan Gilbert, first career shutout. Feeling good. What'd you think of that Gilbert performance?
Well, I just crapped on Logan. Well, I didn't crap on him, but I may or may not have said
all year you were not the biggest Logan Gilbert guy.
I actually love him too, but you know what? I haven't been doing tradeaways on the trade videos for a while now. Like in the beginning of the year, I'd be like, here's some trade fours, tradeaways. I did one video called tradeaways. Tradeaways just get people so worked up. So I was like, let's focus on some happiness for a month or so. Here, guys, to trade for, blah, blah, blah. So this week, I'm like, let's sprinkle in a couple trade-away guys just into it. Who did I have? I had Logan Gilbert. I had Logan Gilbert in there. I still gonna kind of hold to what I was saying. I think there's a big return that can be had, especially after a game like this, with some of the inconsistencies and low strikeout numbers. But the problem is the guy has a sub-2 walk per 9. He does have a better xFIP right now than ERA. He's pretty damn good. He's pretty damn good. So, okay, you guys win. I was wrong. Don't trade. I'm never doing a trade.
All right, well, we'll make you feel better because I'm going to do the 3 downs, and then multiple people in the chat today want to talk about Christian Javier. So you can feel better about yourself after that. The 3 downs, Castellanos 0 for 4, 3 Ks. Pete Alonso 0 for 5, 3 Ks. And Emmett Sheehan 3 2/3, 5 earned. No bueno. Christian Javier is a very hot topic in the chat today. Welsh, you were ahead of this, talking about Javier. Now, Javier is a pitcher I liked a lot coming into the season. Things were going well. You spoke about why the wheels came off. I guess the big question everybody has, can the wheels be put back together for Christian Javier in the second half?
Of course it could be. But one of my big things has been how? Like, well, what's the thing? The 2-pitch pitchers make it more difficult. When one pitch is off and the other one is also, like, here's the thing. Eno's talked about the shape of the fastball is not working well. The location of the slider is not great. By the way, I think I admit when I'm wrong all the time.
Why do you take these things? It's sarcasm. Don't.
What are we talking about? Clip it like I don't admit that stuff. I'll own up to it.
Oh, Jay Foles I haven't seen Jay Foles in the chat in a while too. He's just here having some fun.
One thing I'm curious about, I saw a tweet where there was somebody that was trying to break down the way he was pitching, and they were saying how he was going in and how he was approaching. He was like a little bit front-faced. Like they were able to identify the way
like
he was
mechanically
pitching.
speaking.
Yeah, there was a mechanical issue inside of his approach, which might be leading to it. But it just comes back to like there are two pitches, and they both have some warts in them right now. So I don't see how they get fixed. I don't see what it is. The slider is so less effective. The fastball shape doesn't look good. And that's why I'm like, I don't see how we're going to get there this year to get old Christian Javier. So that's why I've been out for some time. And that's what I worry about with him. Can it get fixed? Sure. Maybe he needs to go eat some spaghetti with Austin Wells or whatever, and he can get that fixed too. Austin could try to fix everybody, but I don't see him
better than
having
eating lasagna with the Mets. Like that's not something you want to do.
Chicken parm, I guess it was. He needs to go eat some chicken parm.
Oh, there it is again. Oh God, the lasagna with the Alvarez. By the way, if that's what he's eating, everybody else should be eating it because Francisco Alvarez looks like the real deal. By the way, there were some serious questions in April, but that dude looks like a baller right now. Like he has been great. But yeah, there you go. There's your Christian Javier. You might hate that image, but it's still funny. You know what else is a good time? PrizePicks. Sign up today for PrizePicks. Download the app. Use that promo code when you can. Leading off, sign up for PrizePicks. Get 100% deposit match up to $100. We love the PrizePicks here. We love our sponsors. Show them some love. I'm going to go first today.
Do it.
Total bases across the board. Everybody gets a base. Actually, 2. Ellie De La Cruz.
Wait, you got to have a name for this. You're doing this wrong. This is called the Oprah lineup. You got Joe. You have to have themes to your lineup.
Oh, okay.
You get
this
a base.
Is the Oprah.
You get a base. This is your Oprah PrizePicks.
I want everybody listening and watching the show to look under your chairs because I'm giving you all bases. Ellie De La Cruz 1.5 over. Corbin Carroll, you get an over 1.5. Bo Bichette 1.5. You get an over. Everybody gets more than 1.5 stolen bases. Okay, go ahead. What do you got for the people today?
Total bases. You said stolen bases. That'd be amazing. That'd be the most amazing.
Total bases.
I thought you said stolen bases. That would be an amazing one if you could do that too, by the way. All right. I actually don't have a theme for mine today. This is just the guys.
Oh, yeah, no, you made me make a theme and then, I mean, I had
Yeah, but yours was fun. You set it up. Like themes have to be natural. There is nothing here. I've got the Nimmo.
Nothing here is forced, ladies and gentlemen.
Nimmo fantasy score. Who I believe hits, I was looking at this last night. It has like the third or second most hits against lefties on the year, going up against Tommy Henry. George Springer, who I really like today in the leadoff spot. Lance Lynn, by the way, has given up the most homers in baseball. George Springer leadoff. I like his fantasy score. And I'm going with Kodai Senga. Even though the Diamondbacks on the year don't strike out a ton, striking out over 10 on their last 3. Scherzer got to them. I think Senga can. And it is only 5.5. So Senga, Nimmo, and Springer. Score, and strikeouts for Senga is my PrizePicks with no name, no theme. Not as good as Joe's.
Question here in the chat. Matthew Hickey wants to know thoughts on Ketel Marte rest of season. He's been really good. I mean, his numbers have been better than Marcus Simeon's numbers. And we talked about him coming into the season as like, look, you could take this guy a lot later. And we know second base was rough, but like there's an opportunity here where Marte bounces back a little bit. Once some of these young Diamondbacks start to play better, they're going to collectively rise. You know, what's it? All boats. I'm going to create a Welshism. See if I can do it. Rising tide lifts all boats.
I think you actually got that. I don't think boats are in that analogy, but it makes sense.
Boats.
Isn't it rising tides? I
want to see what you do.
What is it? What is it?
I don't know, Welsh. You tell me. What is a rising tides
lift all 2 birds in a stone? Is there's something in there? Like I don't know. Maybe boats are involved in. I don't remember boats being involved in that one. Ketel, I'm very much into Ketel. He's always going to be hitting at the top of the order for the Diamondbacks, whether it's leadoff or 2 or 3. Those guys run. They score runs. It's a really good offense. Ketel always has had like a really intense, big, like max EV numbers, and he's back to tapping in. This is like that 2019 or 18 season where he's just fully tapped in. It's not just about average. It's not just about power. He's put both of those in, and I think he's a little bit jolted because he wasn't like an all-star guy like Corbin Carroll. But I very, very much am into Ketel Marte the rest of the year. What were you laughing at?
I was laughing about some of the Welshisms about the rising tides in the chat.
I just don't think boats are involved in the tide one, are they?
I thought the expression was rising tide lifts all boats to shore. Rising tide. Oh, now he's gonna Google it.
You're right. God dang it, you're right. Rising tide. It says a rising tide lifts all boats. Is
and the Welshism. I think Cody hit it here. Cody hit it. A rising tide leads all horses to drink. I think that's
by the way, this is associated with the idea that improvements in the general economy will benefit all participants in the economy. And JFK said that in 1963. So
there you go. All right, then let's talk about a little betting today. I like the Nationals here plus 110. You know why? Because Graham Ashcraft is pitching today. I think the Nationals plus 110 is a good number. You should take it. Brian Bello has 4.5 strikeouts, minus 128. The juice is decent, though, but I think you can get a Red Sox victory and Bello on the over on the 4.5 small number. He's had 5 or more in 3 of his last 4 outings. He's been really solid. This one's going to shock a lot of people, too. The Royals plus 215, another upset special. Put a small, which is 1 unit on this. I think you might get a good return. And the Mets minus 110. If you want to go the Senga route along with it, you can. Put a little same game parlay. Never go more than 3 on the parlays. 2 is even a better number. You get 2 things right. Don't be greedy. This is how you have success in baseball. Welsh, what do you have on the betting side today for the people?
Everyone's being very mean. Everyone's very mean in here. Be nice on your Welshes.
I wish I had something named after me. I don't have any. You have a whole system of sayings.
No, you have a
this
look.
is not new. You have
look.
done this for years. I've known you for years, and you've done this. And it was always a fun thing, and now it's just we finally given it a name.
My brain is just going as I get older. It's going to get worse and worse.
Oh, I can't wait.
You guys are going to want me around. Yeah, it's going to get worse.
It's going to be awesome.
All right, here's my bets for today. I like Atlanta team total runs through the first 5 at 3.5 over. That is juiced a little bit. If you want to live on the dangerous side, you want to live a little bit dangerous, put on your sunglasses, get out on, buckle your seatbelt, whatever you do. Team total run, or actually, I'm sorry, total runs 3.5 through the first 3 in that game. That is plus money, or at least when I checked it, it was plus 115. So that's 3.5 total runs between both teams through the first 3. I like that as my dangerous play. I like Kodai Senga strikeout 5.5 over was plus 100 again last night. Might have moved just a tiny bit. And then I got a little hit parlay. 3 guys throwing out at you: George Springer, Lane Thomas, and Wander Franco, all to get a hit today. Plus 152. I actually wanted to find someone worse than Wander and just have like the most ridiculous hit parlay of players that no one would bet on. But I like Springer, I like Lane, and I like Wander. 152 for a little hit parade if you guys want to play that.
I want to play Sorare. FantasyPros.com/collect. It's free. It's fun. It's cards. You make your team and you go challenge other people in our fun league. FantasyPros.com/leadingoffleague. I hope people tried it yesterday on our fun little holiday. If not, give it a chance. If you have Mike Trout on your team and your season might be over, play some Sorare. You might just win some MLB TV subs. So fun things going on there. And look, go check it out. Again, it's really cool. It's one of our sponsors. We appreciate when everybody signs up. I know Razor's been playing. A couple other people have been playing too. It's a good time. They have attest to it. I've checked it out too. I like it. I love the look of the site too. That has been really cool. So go, please, check out Sorare. It's a really fun way to play a little fantasy baseball. And if you like cards and packs and all that fun stuff, the excitement of opening up a baseball card pack never gets old. I was down one of these rabbit holes watching somebody who does these reels of opening packs from older cards and things like that. And I was just watching, I was like 20 minutes I was watching these things. I don't know why, but that's what happens. You just run down the rabbit hole.
I do those sometimes. I haven't done it in a couple months, but I run monthly things over on the ITL Patreon of opening up cards because I love collectibles and cards and all that stuff.
Now, this is the first person that said this, by the way. Richie says I should bring back the mustache. I don't know, Richie. I think it's a tough sell, but
soul patch
I don't know.
We could go hard soul patches. I like that.
We can.
We could. We could.
I don't know. DFS picks of the day. Brian Bello is cheap, 8.5. Justin Steele, 9.7. Priced just right. And I think what you want to do also is realize that Senga might be a little heavily rostered today. So would Bobby Miller. I think Steele is probably the best way to go. 9.7. I think that's the sweet spot. Dodgers, Mets, San Fran. That's where I'm looking for offense today. James Outman starting to swing a hot bat, 2.7. Same thing with Alvarez, 2.7. And Gleyber Torres, 2.8. Also swinging good bats. I'm going with Pete Alonso. It was 0 for yesterday. So I'm going to turn that bad boy around for the Polar Bear. Give me Pete Alonso for my home run call today. I don't care if it's cheap. I'm taking it. Home run board, J.J. Tater overtaking Ramon 32-31. Look at R. Hoffman at 29. Primetime at 27. Primetime's been on this list since the day it started. Same with BHB Daddy. So looking for myself on that list. Not there yet, but closing in. Welsh, who's your home run call for the day?
Again, obscurity. I'm going with George Springer. I was thinking about Vlad. I was thinking about Bichette. I'm going to take the extra at bat. Lance Lynn gives up the most homers. George Springer, a little bit of a tear, someone I'm trying to buy right now. So I'm going to go with George Springer for my home run call today. Maybe even two.
Ooh, that'd be nice. Sign up today, fantasypros.com/chat. Join the Discord. Amazing community of people there. And when you're a premium Fantasy Pros member, you get access to the home run channel. It's the beginning of July. You can win fabulous prizes. Now that Mayor's back from his cruise, maybe we can get the winner from June, whoever had the most home run calls right. I imagine it's probably the Tater, right? You imagine it's got to be Tater, right?
Tater just
if it's not Tater, maybe it's somebody else. I don't know. But it could be somebody who just popped up in June and all of a sudden started calling home runs. But that could be you in July. Fabulous prizes. We went long today, but we weren't here yesterday, so we gave you your money's worth. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on for the Welsh. I'm Joey P. May all your boats get to shore.
Happy birthday.